Okay, another part of Chapter 4 is the challenges associated with poverty. As I've mentioned on every one of these videos, I think, Hamlin County does have several schools that are considered Title I school, which means there's a lot of free and reduced lunches. So poverty is a part of our schooling. I think even in the surrounding counties you're going to find that to be true as well. Many children grow up in poverty, including more than million children, 22% in the United States. 22% considered growing up in poverty. Some come from families that can meet life's basic necessities but have little money left over for luxuries. Many others live in extreme poverty. These students are the ones most at risk of academic failure and thus most in need of our attention and support. I can tell you a few years ago, it's been within the last probably 4 years, we went for a visit at Hillcrest. STA had adopted Hillcrest for that year, and they asked for clothing and socks and underwear and coats and those kinds of things. And when I went over to ask some questions about it, they were telling me that over 90% of their students were considered living in poverty. Lots of them at that time, that's when the economy had gotten really bad, and a lot of the students were living in their cars out Cherokee Park or living in tents at Cherokee Park. And so they were coming to school with no showers, not been fed, and so they were using the clothes that we donated to take them in the bathroom, let them clean themselves up, and then give them a change of clothes. We have been blessed to probably not have been affected too much by the economy, the sag and the economy there at the one time, but we sometimes are oblivious to what's happening around us in our own neighborhoods with our own community children. So it is here, as hard as that 22% number is to believe, it is in our county. So factors that contribute to the lower school achievement of these students, probably the number one factor is the poor nutrition and health. You think about sleeping in your car overnight, in cold weather, in hot weather, whatever. Sleeping in your car, period. How rested are you when you come to school? Thus, when your body is tired, it's more apt to not be able to fight off diseases, which means you'll have more colds, which affects your health. Probably these students were getting breakfast and lunch at school, but supper is questionable. Weekend meals are questionable as well. So those are factors. When children come to school sleepy because they didn't sleep well in the car the night before, there is a problem. I mean, that's going to affect their achievement. Inadequate housing and frequent moves, that's what we were talking about. If your house is your car or a tent, I would say that's inadequate. I think you would agree. Perhaps you're moving around a lot because you stay in one house. The mom and dad can't pay their rent, and they stay there as long as they can until they get evicted. Well, that might get them another month or two, at least in some type of a shelter, and then they're evicted, have to move somewhere else. Maybe they could scrounge up enough money for the first month's rent there, but then here we go again. How long can I stay before they evict us if I don't pay? Exposure to toxic substance in our society. The meth labs are booming. Our children are aware of that. It's in their homes. Drugs are in their home. Alcohol's in their homes. It probably amazes us if we knew how many of our community children were being affected by toxic substances. Unhealthy social environments, because of those toxic substances, sometimes there's people who come in and out throughout the day and night, and that's not a healthy situation for kids, because that's not who we want the children to be hanging out with. The emotional stress of living in a car, of not knowing whether mom or dad's going to go to jail, of not knowing where your next meal's coming from. So much emotional stress can be put up on kids And it saddens me to even think about the pressures that they go through. Gaps in background knowledge, well, maybe because they're sleeping in a car or constantly moving, they haven't been able to receive that background knowledge that most of the kids their age have, because they've been in and out of school, bouncing here to there, not paying attention maybe when they are there, some teacher not having interest in them and not helping them meet their needs. So many things can happen there. And then when there's a gap in the background knowledge, if I don't know what 2 times 3 is, there's no point in my teacher keep hounding me about 22 times 33, because I still don't know the answer. Lower quality schools. Sometimes our poverty children and our school buildings that those children attend are sometimes not funded as highly and kept up as nicely. I can think of right now a school system who used to, I hope that things have changed, but they used to, if you were a problem teacher, they'd move you to a certain school that was considered one of their poverty areas, and you would have to teach there. That was your punishment. Really? Is it your punishment or is it the student's punishment? I don't think that's happening near as often as it used to, but I think our Title I schools, our poverty-ridden area schools, community schools, should look just as nice as our higher-end schools do and should be as well maintained. I think we do a great job here in Hamlin County and most of the surrounding counties. I would agree that we do a lot with what we have to work with. Let's say it that way. So. Text me. What is your thoughts about poverty? Did you know it was here? Or have you had your head in the sand? Let me know what you think about poverty and education.